Welcome to Nascimento Marketing's 32 Blitz, presented by Living Sport. Before I introduce you to all of our guests tonight, let me just run through the rules quickly. So, tonight is a best of 3 series, so whoever wins 2 moves on. It's going to be 12-minute games, and since we're playing NBA 2K tonight, it's going to be 3-minute quarters. Like I said, winner advances to the next round. And for the selection of teams, it will be done via random. So the 2 competitors can decide between their first 2 random selections, or if they don't like either of them, they can go for a third random, but they have to stay with them. Now, let me introduce you to everyone. Actually, they're going to introduce themselves. So, Dan, you want to start and then kind of go in order who logged on first?
Yeah, hi, I'm Dan. I'm currently a rising senior at Penn State studying accounting with a minor in MIS. Growing up, I always loved sports. I was a 4-sport athlete in high school, playing basketball, volleyball, running track, and cross country. Going to Penn State, I always wanted to do something sports related. Unfortunately, it wasn't going to be on the athletic field. So, joined this Penn State Sports Business Club, got an internship out of that, worked with Penn State Athletics during my freshman year. The summer after that, I interned with the Baltimore Orioles within their hospitality department, and I was actually supposed to work with them again this summer. But unfortunately, due to coronavirus, there is no baseball, at least for now. I think it's coming back in late July, so stay tuned.
Yeah, good stuff. Ben?
Everybody, I'm Ben Alon. I'm also a rising senior. I go to Syracuse University and study finance and marketing. Like Dan, I had a lot of aspirations growing up. I was going to be a college athlete. I was actually getting recruited to some low major D1 schools my freshman year of high school. Unfortunately, I had back-to-back knee surgeries my junior and senior year. That put me out of the D1 category. I could have gone D3. But I wanted to instead, get a better education. I went to Syracuse, ended up becoming a basketball manager. Decided to stop doing that just because my visions didn't align with that of the program. I did an internship with Wasserman Media Group in LA, and that taught me a lot. Then did an internship with the Professional Basketball Combine and helped bring LiAngelo Ball to that, which is the secondary to that of the NBA's. This past year, I worked for the Brooklyn Nets as a team marketing intern, and I am a co-founder and current president of the Syracuse Sport Business Conference. So we've been running our digital series since COVID happened, because we were supposed to have our first one up at Syracuse this year. And I'm happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, no problem. Before we go to Daniel, I got a quick question, because both of you said rising senior. I haven't heard that in Canada. What does that mean?
It means that we're in between our junior and senior year.
Okay, that's what I assumed. Just wanted to confirm. Daniel, sorry to cut you off. Go ahead.
Can I also ask a question?
Yeah.
You said you worked at BSC Global.
Yeah.
Do you know Avery Olarikin by any chance?
Yeah. I rode the bus with him a few times. Yeah. He was a summer sales intern, right?
Yeah, he's on my executive board for Sports Business Club.
Oh, cool.
What is
world.
All world.
I didn't work with him on direct projects, but I was definitely introduced to him through other employees in the sales department. That's really cool.
Yeah.
Before we get to Daniel, do you guys want to start doing your randoms, and then Daniel and Robert can do their introduction while you guys are selecting your teams?
Yeah, for sure.
Daniel, go ahead.
Yeah, so my name is Daniel Hancock. I'm from North Carolina. I am a graduating college student from Manhattanville College. I got my bachelor's in communication and media studies with a focus on social media. I want my sports has been my life since the day I was born. My dad had me watching an Atlanta Braves game within hours after I was born, sitting in the hospital. And growing up, I played baseball, basketball, soccer, and tennis. I managed to get an offer to play tennis at the Division III level with College of New Rochelle. I was the first number 1 and first captain in the school's men's tennis history. Unfortunately, the school had some financial troubles and shut down after my junior year. And I went to Manhattanville and graduated. During my time at both New Rochelle and Manhattanville, I was a basketball manager, the head basketball manager for the men's basketball team. Helped run the social media accounts, made graphics and videos, and also got the chance to work as a public address announcer and a color and play-by-play commentator for all the sports teams.
Wow, yeah. You guys have quite the resume. Before we get to Robert, do you guys want to click start? Obviously, I see you guys went Bucks and Mavericks. Hopefully, no one.
I'm just gonna switch my jersey to dark.
Ben? Yeah. And then.
It doesn't bug me. It's my jersey.
Pardon?
Actually,
Go ahead.
DZ, you want to go back real quick so we could change our colors? Or does that happen now?
I don't know. That's you guys. I don't know how to do the 2K online stuff. But Robert, do you want to introduce yourself while they figure out the jerseys and start loading the game?
Sure. Yeah, so hi guys. My name is Robert Pradigo. Along with Chris here, I'm the only other Canadian. I'm a finance major at Montreal's Concordia University. I'm also the vice president of speaker relations for the John Molson Sports Marketing Committee. And basically our mandate at JMSM is to give students who aspire to be in the sports business industry the tools and the resources and the knowledge that they need to be able to find their path to the sports industry that they want to work with. And we organize the largest student-run, non-for-profit sports business conference in Canada. But unfortunately, as we all know, due to COVID, that's been canceled, unfortunately. But in the meantime, we're still doing our best to give the students the resources that our mandate promises them, and we're always making sure we have content to enlighten students and build a connection between sports business professionals and the future students who are going to be in that business. So that's our mandate, and it's a pleasure to meet everyone. Definitely a new experience for me. I didn't think I'd be on a call with people from Penn State, North Carolina, and others. So it's great being here, and thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks for coming on. I guess I should introduce myself. Christopher Nascimento. I'm the one running the stream. So at Nascimento Marketing 32 Blitz. That's all me. I'm currently actually graduated last week from the University of Ottawa with a Bachelor's of Commerce in Marketing. And I'm also a part of Atletico Ottawa, which is the new soccer team here in the city, which is Ottawa, which is where I'm from. And yeah, before we kind of get into anything else, just to confirm, Bucks is Ben?
Yep.
Okay, Bucks are Ben, which is Syracuse, and then Dan from Penn State is the Mavericks. And just kind of building on the basketball. Ben, did you say D1 scholarship for basketball at Syracuse, or like D1?
I was getting recruited in high school to play D1, like my freshman year of high school when I was playing AAU. And then I had a couple major knee surgeries, so that got moved to like D2 and D3 interests.
Wow, okay, that's impressive. And then same with Daniel with the tennis scholarship. I'm just an intramural all-star, but that's still good. Yeah. It's too bad about all these. I know you guys are all involved in, but I think this is probably the best resume of guests we've had. No offense to anyone who's been on, but I know at least for being in Canada, like Robert, I actually tried attending the Concordia or the John Molson conference this past November, but since it was my last semester at UWATA, we have this simulation that takes place over 4 days, and it's the exact same weekend as the conference, so it was pretty unfortunate, but yeah, I love what you guys are doing, and maybe I know Dan's involved with Penn State's conference.
What we try to do is that we try to include as many different delegates from as many different schools as we can. So we reach out to a whole different bunch of universities from Ontario, Guelph, Ryerson, and then some. And then even then, after that, we try to reach out into the States, see if we can get people from the New England area to come up. So I think my team was in contact with, maybe it might be in Syracuse, but I think it might have been someone else in the States, that maybe we could do a collaboration where we both host a conference and we share content, something like that. I can't quite remember, but the point is,
I run the Syracuse conference. I actually wasn't aware of that. I've been speaking to the University of Toronto Sports Business about doing something, and I would definitely love to collaborate with you.
For sure, yeah, and especially times like these where It's hard, especially doing it on our own. I think strength in numbers is always best, and pooling resources.
Yeah, for sure. Especially just tapping into those international markets. It could be really a lot of good for the different students between all of our schools.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and like I said, our mandate isn't just to focus on Concordia students, but even beyond that, people in the Montreal area, and then beyond that, other provinces in Canada. And if we can reach out to schools in the States, even better. Like the more that we can collaborate and give students the resources that they need, the more successful we are, right? The more our mandate is fulfilled. So it's great to make connections like that.
It just looks like I'm everyone's 100%. Guy with this, with this event. I'm just connecting everyone. You guys are at different schools, different conferences. I think we need a whole Nascimento marketing conference series. I'll go all around the world. Let's do it.
Well, the number one rule in business is about who you know, not what you know, right?
Hey, 100%. That's what my podcast is all about, I've been plugging it in every stream. I'm going to continue to do so. Shameless plug. The Route podcast is on all major platforms. Great guests, Australia, USA, UK, Switzerland's coming up in a few weeks. Bunch of Canadian guests as well. And Monday's episode is with an NBA executive. So stay tuned for that. The Route podcast. But awesome. Guys. Pardon?
That's awesome. What team do they represent?
No, so they're actually with the league. So they're I think they're working head of international development, something like that. I can't remember. I record. I don't know if you guys know. Robert probably knows. You know Jack Armstrong from the Raptors?
Yeah, the commentator?
Yeah, I interviewed him last week. So
nice.
He picked up the phone, and his big saying here in Canada is like, hello. He actually does that when he pick up the phone, so that was pretty cool. But
wow, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I gotta check that one out.
Yeah. So that one's probably coming out late July or sometime in August.
Right. So how early do you record your interviews?
Yeah, so I just record in bulk. So I had 1 week that I did almost 20 interviews.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, I just wanted consistent, right? So then now,
of course.
Since I had so many recorded in the bank, I edit them. I make a little magazine cover piece of creative for social media, and then I kind of release it and it gets scheduled and it's good to go. And that way I can focus on things like this, because this event, for anyone who thinks streaming isn't easy, kind of like myself, or that streaming is easy, which is what I thought initially, it's not. This broadcasting, learning all these softwares just to get it going, crazy. But that just allowed me to do so. But
yeah. I've had to. We launched our own web series to make sure that we have some content for our student body, and I learned the tricks and trade about podcasting, sound quality, making sure you're booking guests on time.
Yeah.
Recording. I had so many issues with sound quality. Even the ones that I've recorded now, they don't sound perfect. The ones when I've listened from your podcast, the audio is fantastic. So I've tried to find different ways to fix the audio on our podcast. But it's really fun to be able to speak with these speakers one-on-one. Have our own mini conference virtually, which was the point of the entire web series.
For sure.
Place.
It's all.
What program do you use for your podcast?
Me?
Yeah. Well, both of you, I guess.
Sure. So the secret is if you listen to my first few podcasts, my friends used to message me like, I can't listen. The audio is so bad. It's all in the mic. So there's a bunch of sales here a couple months ago. I ponied up and bought a Blue Yeti mic. Pretty good stuff. That's what you're hearing me on now. And surprisingly enough, my editing software, as crazy as this sounds, it's just GarageBand. I tried 4 softwares in a week. No good. I hated them all. GarageBand's perfect for what I need. It's pretty efficient as well, so that's what I'm big on.
Yeah,
that's cool.
Couple of friends and I, we actually had started one my sophomore year, and it started to get pretty popular. We got picked up by Spotify and Google. There's an app. The app we use is called Anchor. I don't know if you've heard of it.
Yeah, that's what I use.
Yeah, that's what they put it out there for us immediately, and we got up to where they started recommending we try to find sponsors and stuff. But then between that was when I went off to work with Living Sport for the summer for the couple weeks, and we didn't get much of a chance to kind of get together over the summer between internships, and Sally ended up winning away. We're trying to get it back though.
Yeah.
We actually use Anchor for Syracuse, so we've been trying to expand on all of our different platforms. So like we have YouTube channel now. We're on all the different podcast channels, whether it's Apple, Google, Spotify. And then we actually host our webinars live on Zoom. So like today we hosted one with the Vice President of Sports Marketing at Turner. But we've also been fortunate enough to have like David Levy on, who created the NBA Turner deal for TV. And we're bringing on a bunch of more cool people. I'm very excited about that as well. But it's really interesting. I've never been into the podcast game, and to be able to use this a software like Anchor where it just publishes to everything was really fascinating for me.
It's amazing.
We were really pushing because Mariano Rivera was actually a big supporter of College of New Rochelle. I got to meet him a couple times. I even got to interview him for the school paper. So cool. we were pushing, trying to find a way to get him on, because we knew if we could get him on a podcast, we could definitely get some viewers on it.
Yeah.
And I tell you, he's probably one of the nicest guys I've ever met in my life.
Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah,
that would even parlay future opportunities for you guys.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, my podcast. So the whole goal behind it was, I think I said it to maybe Ben and Dan before you guys came on and before we started streaming, that I was in accounting before. So I was just focused on getting my degree, then going through my CPA, blah, 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 going on from there. And once kind of switched to marketing, and I'm like, oh, if I do marketing, the only thing I'm doing is sports, because, I want to be in something I'm passionate about. So that's when I had to make up that ground of those first 2 years that I missed out with the coffee chats. And as much as I love Ottawa and, the teams here and all that, sports world, like you guys know, perfect example right now, we got, Dan's in Maryland, Ben, I think, upstate New York, UNC, Montreal. The sports world's all over. So I kind of wanted to expand my network past the city I'm living in. And at least in marketing, you always talk about providing people with value and having that exchange. And it was going to be hard to entice executives from, I don't know, like the MLB or the NBA to come talk to me, because imagine the amount of messages they must be getting all the time. So I'm like, oh, you know what? If I create this platform and a way for them to like promote themselves, that's a great way. So I'm not too big on getting the listens. If I get them, great. I'm learning how to promote it, etc. Making a ton of connections as well. But I have a whole notebook with gold, like just gold from all these executives. So yeah, that's what I'm pretty big on. And like fortunately enough, like organically, it's doing pretty well.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I feel you, Chris. Our biggest challenge is getting people to read our emails.
Yeah.
Getting people to open our email in the first place. I mean, when we organize the conference, I guarantee we send out at least, between me and my team, 1,000 sounds about right. 1,000 emails. 80% of them go unread, unanswered.
Really?
The other maybe 15% you get a no, and then the remaining percentage you get maybe a yes or interested, and you just run with that. You make sure that you can do anything possible to keep that interest alive. Negotiate as best you can. See if you can actually secure their attendance, and sometimes it works out for the better. Sometimes it falls through, but yeah, a lot of the time, it just our invitations fall on deaf ears. But what can you do? They're busy people, especially the higher up you go, the harder it is.
Yeah,
and that's only normal. But it's not all. What we learned is that you don't always have to have a CEO or a vice president or an executive to actually have good content. You can have a manager or a director, and they'll just be equally as intriguing about what they have to say. So, yeah, but getting our message heard and getting a response is a challenge in and of itself. So
I'll give you a little hint here, because this is what I do, because I have a pretty high success rate, I think, on getting guests. LinkedIn, adding them with a personal invite, unreal. Like the amount of messages you get back. So I think I said earlier, I had 1 week with 20 recordings. I didn't plan to have 20 recordings. It was kind of my first time like reaching out to a bunch of people, and everyone was answering me, hey, are you available like this week? I was like, oh yeah, like I'll find time, and it was all from LinkedIn. I think that week I won like 50%.
For LinkedIn, the thing I found with LinkedIn is that a lot of when you're not connected with someone, a lot of the time you have to be on a membership. You have to be like in a certain.
No. You go to the 3 dots. There's 3 dots. And it says.
Yeah, I know. And then when you say message, when I've tried to do it, you have to be a premium member to be able to message them without being connected. So
No. So it's a personalized. It's called personalized request or invite. So you only have like 200 characters.
Okay, I get it. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So it's not the actual messaging system. It's the invite.
It's short and sweet. It's the way everyone likes it. Dan, not to I know it's a tight game here. Oh, it's already the fourth. Wow. Not to interrupt or anything, but do you want to chime in here, maybe kind of speak on what you do with Penn State at the conference?
I'll work for the conference. I work with Sports Business Club.
Okay,
And I
yeah.
kind of right now, I'm just working. I actually work as the webmaster and the athletic director.
Okay.
So as a group, we kind of, our main goal is to introduce, up and coming people to the sports business industry.
Mm-hmm.
Just because at Penn State we don't have a sports business major, and the only way to get into the sports business industry is really through connections.
100%.
So at the Sports Business Club, we, just provide opportunity. We bring speakers to our meetings, and we give them that opportunity to connect with sports business associates from all across the nation, in various different industries. So pretty much my role is to help out with that, but also pretty much just publish, internship and job opportunities on the website. Just keep our members updated on our day-to-day routine, what we're doing. And then through the athletic director position, I'm essentially it's essentially the sports part of the Sports Business Club, just pretty much engaging members, through the sports that they love, growing up. So just kind of giving away for members that don't know each other, just an opportunity to get to know one another and, provide that bond from early on. That way, when people go to meetings, they'll have people that they'll know from the get-go. So yeah, that's a little bit about what I do.
No, that sounds good stuff, and sounds like maybe an event like this is something you guys can look towards and doing just internally at Penn State to kind of connect people, especially I don't know if it's confirmed at your schools, but I think at UWater, which is where I just graduated from, it's pretty much confirmed that all of next year will be done online. So especially for sport business clubs and conferences, it's going to be harder to find different unique ways to kind of stand out and connect everyone.
Yeah, Concordia's fall semester is online as well.
Yeah, it's crazy. Imagine just your first semester of university with all those events where you're meeting people, maybe moving out for the first time, and you're on the computer.
I had to drag myself to do finals this past term because I thought I was basically at the vacation mentality.
Yeah.
The entire semester online. It's gonna be rough.
Yeah, no.
I'll say senioritis is hard. Senioritis when you're doing online classes is a killer.
Yeah.
That was probably one of the toughest semesters I've had.
Yeah. Luckily enough for me, I kind of sped up my course load. So I finished in December, went traveling for January, and then I was networking and all that and kind of working with a startup in what should have been my winter semester. So I luckily didn't have to do all these classes and stuff online. So I got lucky there. Yeah.
So what are you doing with Ottawa, with the Ottawa Soccer Club?
Yeah, so marketing. I'm doing, today we're shooting, we're doing content.
Let's keep it at that.
I had to think there quickly what I could say. Yeah, we're making content. I was there, came up with a few ideas. I actually just joined last week, and it's a brand new club. They're actually owned by Atletico de Madrid. So, yeah. So our CEO's from Spain, the coach, Spanish, and then I don't know if you're familiar with, maybe Robert is, but what's the score? 43 to 40.
Yeah, DZ closed me out there.
He did a shout like a second ago.
That's why he's been so quiet, eh? Even laser focused for this last minute. Okay. Well, let's make it interesting because we haven't had a 3-series game yet. So I don't know what you guys need to do now to make another game. It sounds bad that considering I'm hosting this, I don't know how all this gaming stuff works.
You learn as you go, man. You learn as you go.
Are we using the same teams?
No. Running it back. Can't use the same teams.
Okay. Cool.
But,
and am I still home or?
You know what? I don't think it matters that much because it doesn't matter. Just go wherever you want.
I'm fine with you being. I don't really. It doesn't matter.
It doesn't do a difference, yeah. But
You got it. You won.
So
also, I just wanted to kind of chip in because I didn't speak since we were still talking about the sports business conferences and how we set that up. So I'm actually from Long Island, down by Manhattan, like in the southern part of New York.
Yeah.
And one thing that made it really easy in terms of like getting people on was I started preparing before my sophomore year, and I would go into Manhattan and I would meet with professionals and try to see, like, pick their brains, network with them, and then invite them to collaborate. That's my big mojo here with the sport business conferences. I mean, in terms of like our digital series, how I've been working with my team is, if anybody has a connection that they really want to bring on that they think would be valuable for all these different students, I'll let them communicate with that connection. I'll help them send emails, whatever it may be, and give them all the information necessary to want to come on. And then once we have that confirmed, again, it's still through that connection. Leadership team doesn't take that over. It's still very much through who is setting up the panel. And it's really cool because we let every kid kind of set up their own panel. And as we go through the series, everybody's gaining firsthand experience as to how to network properly, how to gain connections, and then on top of that, how to see their vision come to light at the end of the week. It's been a lot of LinkedIn messaging, a lot of emailing, cold emailing, but a lot of it has been through, reaching out to connections and parlaying even people who've been on the show. They'll usually set us up with people in the future. So, I mean, I just wanted to kind of throw in how we do it at Syracuse as well to give you perspective.
No, yeah, that sounds amazing. And okay, before I touch on this, just so we can continue having the games going, let's run it back with the random, and then we'll kind of touch on that a bit, because I have a question for you that I don't want to forget, and I tend to forget things due to concussions. But I almost lost my train of thought. Yeah, so let's run it back quickly. I'm also posting something on Instagram. If you guys can look down quickly, it's just live now. You guys can share it, just so people understand that it's right now that you're live and speaking, because we're having an amazing conversation. You should tell your friends that you are too, even if you're not. But yeah, are these the teams?
Yeah, I think I'm gonna be the Bucks again, because it's either the Knicks or the Suns against the Rockets. So.
Okay, here, since it's the Bucks, we'll redo the second one, just so you're not the same team. So this won't count as 3.
Okay. I can do the Celtics.
What is it?
Fair matchup.
Yeah, that's good. And then just quickly before you guys click play, let's just get everyone sharing that live now on Instagram, because how many people do we have watching right now? There are 7 people currently, and people have been tuning in and out, which is actually pretty good because it might increase the total. But yeah, so let's just share that quickly. Ben, I saw that you already saw it, so I'm just going to ask you a quick question here. Kind of touched on how at Syracuse guys have been getting more involved with YouTube, and anyone else can touch on this after as well. What kind of things have you been doing to have put out quality video content? Because all these different platforms, whether it's Instagram, Facebook, etc. I know Facebook for sure that to do well in the algorithm, you need videos that are over a minute. And to have a video over a minute do well, you need quality. It can't just be off your phone or anything like that. So what are you finding you guys are doing? Are you asking students who have this type of equipment to perform, or are you guys just trying to manage on your own?
I mean, a little bit of both, but the first thing I did was I tried to compartmentalize all of the different things I wanted to accomplish with social media and posting content. And the first thing I thought of was to just hire somebody that's better than me at what that is. So video editing, clipping, creating graphics, although I create a lot of our graphics. A lot of it was firsthand throwing myself in. And then once I brought in people onto the team, it was teaching them. And it's been a little bit of delegation, but also working with them as well. I know that they use like iMovie and Adobe softwares to, get the job done. In terms of our graphics, we use Canva, which is a really great resource.
Yeah, good stuff.
And and then on top of that, Linktree is also really great to kind of keep everything in one place.
Yeah, I know.
You should look at Adobe Spark too. That one, I use that one a lot. I don't know if you use that at all.
Yeah, we're actually also going to try to tap into Spark AR software through Facebook and kind of create some of those different designs and see how we can play around with interactive AR.
Yeah. Yeah, get the game going. And then, is it going? Let me see if the stream's working. Yeah, stream's good. Yeah. Dan, are you?
And then on top of that, Anchor is really great. Like we talked about before for a podcast.
Yeah. Wait, what about Anchor though? You're talking about?
Like uploading. All right, I'm the Celtics. Uploading, different. Hold up, I can't focus on both. Uploading different, episodes that we have for our digital series to Anchor, and then you can kind of separate. And I'm pretty sure you can add professional intros through that software as well.
Yeah. Here, I'll let you focus back on the game then, and I guess I'll focus with Daniel and Robert a bit more while you guys battle it out.
To pick up off what he was saying is we at one of my jobs at New Rochelle was make some kind of web series, do something for content, because a lot of our athletes were from other countries cross country. A lot of the athletes were not from the like Westchester, Long Island, and the New York City area. So we had a lot of people viewing our live streams that we did on YouTube. So we came up with just a little web series. We called it Media Monday, and it was just, we'd get the athletes to play minute to win it games and try not to laugh challenges with their coaches and stuff like that. And yeah, it's definitely interesting when you look at, you could have like your best edited video and it'd be like 9 minutes and it'll get less views than your one that's 2 minutes solely off of just the length of it. People will, they'll stop watching a video after a minute and a half and they don't want to watch the whole like 9-10 minute video. And it's especially interesting when you look at the analytics to when like the peak viewership is, because that was the one thing we pushed more than anything. Was we noticed everyone's looking at our channel, everyone's looking at our social media pages around 12:30. They're getting on their lunch breaks and they're going straight to Facebook, straight to Instagram. So we would push to make sure everything was ready so we could post it at noon.
Yeah. Oh, that makes a lot of sense. And now just kind of building on that, I know maybe for most of the stream we've been talking about what everyone's had in experiences and what their respective club, conference, or teams that they work for have done. But maybe kind of be a little more selfish here and kind of push your personal brand or gain that exposure. I don't know if anyone wants to go first here, but who wants to share what they're all about, what they're doing, or what they want to do as well?
I can go first.
Let's go for it.
So like I said earlier, I graduated from Manhattanville. I've been working in sports pretty much since the day I got into college. I went from, just being able to do public address to now I'm helping run teams' Instagram pages and getting hired by players to make graphics for them, make posters, make their recruit tapes for colleges and overseas. And yeah, I think living sport has helped me with that, getting multifaceted, get experience in a lot of different areas, and helped me kind of get to a point where, I was talking to one of my advisors a couple months ago about which graduate program I should go into, and she told me it wouldn't matter because your skill set you have right now, the experience you have, the references you have right now are what's going to help you get the job and show that you can do more than just one focused thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Does anyone else want to build on that?
I think my story is a bit bit different from everyone else's. I actually studied sciences for most of my academic career. When I finished college in Quebec, we call it Cégep, but
Yeah.
for you guys, it'd be coming to college. I graduated from sciences, and I said to myself, I really want to try something else. As much as I like sciences, I didn't see myself doing it for the rest of my life. So I decided to go to business school because what the heck, why not? And even at that point, I wasn't. I followed soccer. I liked listening into the politics of sports from time to time, but I wasn't. I wasn't indulging in sports like a lot of people are right now. And only when I got to university, I took a class about sports business, and I thought it was intriguing. I thought it was really cool, and I decided to join the John Molson Sports Marketing Committee because, if anything else, I just wanted to make some friends at school. I didn't know anyone at university, especially because I didn't go to other business schools before that. So I was new to a business school in the first place. So I joined the association just to get to know people, and I haven't regretted ever since. Even still today, I'm not hell bent on working in sports, but I think that being a part of the association has allowed me to take what I've learned in class, take those theories and take that knowledge and actually apply it to real world circumstances. And I think that's what I've gotten above all else. I think the sports business industry is really cool. I wouldn't say no to maybe working for a sports business team, but at the end of the day, it is a business, right? It's a business like any other. The only difference is that you're putting on a show instead of selling a product, right?
Yeah.
But I really like what I'm doing with JMSM. I've been able to develop my personal, my professional demeanor tenfold. From where I started to where I am now, I owe it all to the involvement I have had with the sports marketing committee, and the connections I've made have been invaluable to me and will be invaluable for the rest of my life. So we'll see where the road goes from here on out. But so far, my experience has been quite enjoyable and quite memorable.
Yeah, that's great stuff. Dan, I think you were gonna go, right?
Yeah, so I'm actually like the opposite of you, Chris. So where you start out in accounting and then you're now going into the sports business world. I actually started out in the sports business world and I'm actually going to accounting right now. So for the near future, my plan is I'm gonna get my master's in accounting and I'm gonna get my CPA, and then from that, I'm probably nothing's set in stone, but I'm looking at working at a large public accounting firm for say 5 to 10 years. But my love for sports is never gonna go away, and having the experience that I do, I love to work in sports again. But I talked to one of my academic advisors because what I really wanted to do was I wanted to do accounting or finance within sports, but he told me that it's a lot easier going, learning as much as you can within the accounting world and then going into sports. It's a lot easier going that route than doing sports business and then trying to go into accounting within sports business. So for now, I'm kind of saying goodbye to, working within sports business, but, if the opportunity comes down the future, I'll ready to hop on that.
Yeah, if I could add to what Dan said, I think the number one thing that I've learned in my experiences with what I've done with sports businesses is that they don't care if you're a sports fan. If I were to work for the Montreal Canadiens, the last thing they want to hear is that I'm a diehard fan of the Montreal Canadiens, because they really don't give a crap. They really don't care. It's all about what you know, and are you able to be a valuable asset to the team? Do you know your stuff? Are you good enough at accounting or at finance that you could be reliable and people can trust you? And if you're a sports fan, great, but that's not a priority to the organization. You don't have to study sports business to be able to be be involved in sports business. I spoke with the CEO of the Anaheim Ducks, and he actually went to law school. He didn't even touch business at all, and then he ended up through his career, he ended up progressing to the CEO of the Anaheim Ducks. But the biggest thing that I've learned is that don't worry about majoring in sports business or having a specialty in sports business. Because at the end of the day, it's all about your experiences and how well you know your stuff, right?
100%. Just to build on that, at least myself, I think my last semester of university, I left all of my electives for near the end. I granted at the start, and then kind of did my last fourth year business classes. Then all the good stuff came, right? All the filler classes, and I never took a sports class until my fourth year, because I was really keen on just learning about business as a whole. I never really wavered from ever. Business school was always where I was going. There was never going to be sport management, anything like that. I wanted to learn business as a whole. And then on your point, you're saying kind of the opposite of myself. For accounting, so oddly enough, since I was in kindergarten, in my yearbook it said I was going to be a soccer player and an accountant at 5. I don't know why, but yeah, that's who I was, or am, I guess. And I remember when I graduated elementary school, I was like, I'm going to own my own accounting firm or something like that. And I did, but also I wanted to kind of include sports somehow, maybe have some clients. But I think once I was in second year and I was working in accounting, and I was doing well, I was good at my job, but what really kind of sparked me and switched me that no, I need to do sports. And obviously what you guys are saying about getting experience as a whole and being good at what you do is kind of the priority, and then your passion and everything else kind of goes is an added bonus. But for myself, I personally think if I put my head to something, I'll be good at it. So accounting, marketing, etc. I think I'm a skilled enough person that I'll do well in it. And you know what? My mindset was I'm going to die one day, so I want to go to work and work 12 hours smiling rather than 10 minutes, 48 minutes. You know what I mean? So that was big on me. And then I got offered a contract in second year, and I'm like, yeah, no, I'm done. I quit my job and started working with startups and kind of got into the sports industry from there.
Cool. Well, I'd say with that, I mean, for me, I know I grew up in a small town. I don't think my town has more than 700 people in it.
Wow. That's crazy.
And I mean, I've seen everyone kind of just, they stayed at home. They go to college in North Carolina, and they'd stay back. And that just, it wasn't something I wanted to do. I wanted to travel, and I got the opportunity to play tennis in New York. I thought, that's good. I got to live in another state. And then I actually went in for pre-med. That was what I was in. And then after a week, I realized I am not good at biology or chemistry or science in general. Yeah, so I switched to undeclared. Yeah. And then one of my professors, she actually heard me speaking at a game. She heard she called it my announcer voice. And she went up to me and just handed me a form and says, "You're signing up as a communications major right now." Wow. And that's how I got into it. And then, through that, they sent me the links to a bunch of different internships. And she had sent me one, said, "Living Sport, this is where you should go." And I wasn't thinking sports business. I wasn't thinking anything in sports. I was thinking, I could get a decent paying job, and, just watch all the Braves games, all the basketball games I want. And then after Living Sport, I realized, there you can get a good career in sports and do what you love.
Yeah, for sure.
And that's definitely what's helped push me through this, especially, now I've gotten to the point where I'm looking at starting my own company up with graphic design and video editing. Oh, nice. So it's definitely interesting to see. There's not many people I know that, they go into college for one major and they come out with that same major.
Yeah, well, that's for sure. Ben, you've been a little, I know you're a little down here, but do you want to try multitasking?
Yeah. Just DZ, come on, stop hitting threes on me. So yeah, I mean, I kind of touched upon it earlier and talked about my path, but I can talk about it again. Right out of high school, I was blessed with an internship in Los Angeles. So I moved from New York to LA for that summer, and I worked for Wasserman Media Group. Or it was changed to Wasserman by then. And I got to learn what it was like the business of the agency, business of what it's like to be a top agent in the world. And I fell in love with that. And that set me on my path. I always, I have family members who work in, entertainment, whether it's music or production. And that always interested me, but I always knew that my my forte would be in sports and entertainment. So, once I was able to kind of take that opportunity at Wasserman, come to Syracuse, be a manager on the team, once I realized that, that wasn't for me, I needed to be a self-starter. Like, I needed to take things into my own hands and find opportunities on my own. So that's what led me to reaching out to 2 kids from my hometown who also went to Syracuse, who also have an interest in sport business. My freshman year of school, so part of the reason I had to stop, or I left the team as a manager, was because I got really sick and I had to drop out of school. I had flu and mono at the same time. I lost 22 pounds in a week, and I had to go. Syracuse told me to leave. So I was home trying to, figure out how I was going to transfer back. I was taking 8 a.m. classes at a local community college every day of the week, going to work for my uncle at a transmission shop in Queens. And I was trying to, build myself back up. I went to a sports business conference that Alex Klein invited me to, who's a Syracuse alumnus, who's actually one of the newest scouts on the New York Knicks. I went in Philly and I fell in love with it. While I was sitting there, every single person who was there, he had the who's who of sports there, and every single person who was on the panel kept saying, like, I'm here because of Alex. I'm here because of Alex. Like, Alex is amazing. I immediately went on my phone. I looked up to see if Syracuse had one. I saw that they didn't. And I thought to myself, why not be Alex? Like, why not at least try? That's when I hit up my friends and we put together the following week a 16-page business plan of how we were going to handle the conference at our school. I also went to the Michigan Sport Business Conference that summer and learned there from people who created the UPenn conference, Penn State, Michigan, I can go on. And that's when I started that. I also then I worked for Jake Kelfer, who's a mentor of mine, who's a world traveling motivational speaker, best-selling author, co-founder of the Professional Basketball Combine. He hired me on as an intern for him, and I helped him with business development, learned a ton from him. I still talk to him very often. And after that, I went back to school, continued my work with the conference. Everything was moving really smoothly. But we partnered with the sport management program, and they decided to postpone having the conference from my sophomore year to this past year, my junior year. And we were going to host it April 17th. We had this whole plan. It was going to be at Turning Stone Resort and Casino, which is like a 4.5-star resort. They host PGA tournaments there. We had everything set from title sponsors to different tabling sponsors to, 300 people were most likely going to be there. We had our whole 12-person speaker lineup ready. We were going to put them up in hotels, and then coronavirus hit. I had an opportunity to work for the Brooklyn Nets last summer as a team marketing intern, and I was able to learn a ton. I was able to take away a lot from different departments and kind of emulate the fact that now I've had the team side, I've had the agency side. I would love to have the league side, but that didn't work out. And now I'm at the point where I see myself working in the industry for a few years, gaining hands-on experience, and then I want to go and start my own thing.
Yeah, no, that's a great story too, and glad you're healthy again and back, crushing the sports industry. But just to confirm, Dan, was it a clean sweep?
Clean sweep.
No big A with the little lighting kind of masking your face. It's almost like a little Phantom of the Opera here, just little scary hours.
That was his plan. He was gonna get y'all to get Ben distracted so he can just.
Yeah, he actually sent me a message. He's like, "Ask Ben another question." No, yeah.
He put up another 5 or 6 points while I started talking. That's
I saw that. I'm like, damn, I should have said anything. But you know what? It's more important that you talk here, people connect with you, and so on, and share what you've been through, rather than putting up 6 additional points in 2 games. But yeah.
No, it's been amazing learning from you guys and talking to you. I'm definitely looking forward. I want to stay connected, and I want to speak to each of you individually.
Likewise.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, I'd also like to say thanks for having us on. Yeah, I apologize. I couldn't chime in as much as I could. I kind of got lost flying a little bit, but same here. I'd like to connect with each of you.
Yeah, this has been an eye-opening experience, especially for me, coming from looking from the outside in. I don't know much about what what people in the States are up to, but it's been very informative, and thank you guys for all the knowledge, and I hope to connect you guys again soon. This has been great.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, thank you guys. This has definitely been, definitely something interesting that's kind of helped me with everything going on in my life right now. But I do want to say thank you, Chris. Thanks, Living Sport. And we do want to mention for you guys and anyone watching, Living Sport is starting to open a domestic program along with their international programs. Because of COVID, a lot of jobs internships got canceled, and we'll be hosting a domestic program in Nashville, Tennessee from August 1st to the 10th, where you'll meet new people. You'll get to explore a new town. I don't know if any of y'all have ever been to Nashville. It's beautiful. You'll get to work an event there, you'll get to meet executives. And then after that, you're going to travel to Alabama and work for the AA for the LA Angels, the Rocket City Trash Pandas, a brand new minor league team. And you'll get to work in a new ballpark. You'll get to meet more executives. I know I still keep in contact just about every other day with people I met overseas in London. Me and one of the people I got pretty close with on the trip. We were arguing earlier about if Joel Embiid or Nikola Jokic was the best center in the NBA right now.
And what'd you
So
say?
it's definitely a chance. You'll get to meet a lot of people. You get to connect with a lot of people, and you'll get a lot more experience and advice that's going to help you guys become more successful.
Who'd you pick for the best center? Yeah,
I gave him Embiid because Embiid's got a better shot, but I still think it's Jokic.
I get it. Does anyone else want to chime in on that before we kind of, he brought it up. We have to talk about it, but
for me, there's a difference between more skilled and more dominant. I think Joel Embiid is more dominant, but I think Nikola Jokic is more skilled.
Yeah, he's a 7-foot point guard.
Yeah.
Yeah. Me too.
Also, Chris, thank you so much for putting this together. This is awesome.
Sure.
In terms of interactive events, like this definitely broadens my horizons in terms of content that we want to put out.
Yeah.
So I really appreciate the invite.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, for sure. Thank you all for coming. What I was going to say is, if any of you, whether it's your conference, your own page, to kind of build your personal brand, it's actually recordings. So we're still streaming, but I've recorded. So there will be a file if you guys want to chop it up and, post something you said about the club or something that you're saying about your story to kind of help build your brand and put it on social media. Because I've figured out during Corona or COVID, I guess it's a better way of saying it, that social media, especially Instagram, surprisingly enough, is a great way to connect with people, and people find your story pretty easily. So even through my podcast, I've been able to find executives on Instagram. That's another shameless plug. They're out podcast on all major platforms. Check it out. But yeah, no, for sure. We have a group chat on Instagram. Let's continue talking there. And if anyone watching, listening, who sees this in 5-10 years from now, and maybe future 5 young executives or CEOs, the youngest ever, our names are here. They should be popped up now. So Dan, right there, Daniel, Ben, all the way down there, Robert. So that's all of us. And on our own conversation in the Instagram chat, I'll link my LinkedIn. Link my LinkedIn. What a phrase. And you guys can do so too, so we can all stay connected and keep in touch professionally. But I want to thank you guys for all coming on. Great discussion. I didn't have to come up with weird questions today, so that's always a bonus. But yeah, thank you so much, and just hit me up if you want some content.
For sure. Thanks,
Appreciate
man.
it.
Thank you, man.
Guys.
Cheers.
Dan, I'll hit you up for the second round. But other than that, that's it for tonight. I hope everyone who watched and who watches in the future enjoys the stream. Thanks, guys.
Stay safe.
Have a good night.